Hey, this is Tony Soprano, and you're listening to Jersey Boyz Podcast with your hosts, Dave Sturchio and the Ernst boys. I mean, I could give a shit about the Cowboys. We're in New Jersey. These guys got balls being Cowboys fans in Jersey. Anyways, enjoy. Or whatever.
How about this, Cowboys?
What's going on, Cowboys Nation? It is your favorite Dallas Cowboys podcast, the Jersey Boyz Podcast, back in the saddle again. Dave Sturchio alongside nationally known comedian Bret Ernst, and of course the return of the Grinch himself, America's fan Keith Ernst. After his 1 week hiatus, we took Jesse Holly under our wing once again, and he helped us bring in the new year. Obviously, it was, didn't play out the way we had hoped it would play out, but there's some optimism in the air around Cowboys Nation as the Cowboys fall to the Eagles on opening night. And of course, the Giants, who are coming up, also looked pretty bad against the Washington Commanders offensively. Defensively, they held their own for a little while, but we'll get into all that. Keith, welcome back. How are we feeling? Is this the first Dallas Cowboys opening day loss that you're not like – the jury is definitely not out on this team, or like, how are you feeling now? We're removed from this at least, 5 days or whatever. So how are you feeling now?
Yeah. I meant I think as I was texting, it didn't feel like we lost, which is weird. I meant it just because it looked like a different team from last year to me. I think that's why.
You don't think we're not falling into the whole Cleveland first game, even though we won that game.
We're not. But see, the difference between that Cleveland game is we were sold on the defense, which is weird. And then the offense, like Bret brings up, we were like, you couldn't really even gauge the offense there because the defense played so well. But I meant now it's like the opposite. Like I was telling Bret, this is the best game. Well, not the best game, but it's Dak's. The way Dak played was better than any game he played last season.
Especially in an opener
game. Yeah, whatever. I'm just saying in general, I didn't see that Dak once last season, which is positive.
Bret, were you surprised to see him stretch the field as much as he did? I felt like he was throwing the ball down the field a little bit more often than not.
Look, he played phenomenal, man. Best opener I've seen him play in a long time. And I'll say this. What happened to the Grinch?
I don't know. he's gone for now, but he'll be back.
Oh, he's at work. So
yeah.
With the echo in the back. I agree with Keith. I think our expectations. Look, my brother and I both thought Dallas would lose, but they gave the game away. It was our game to win, and our offense looked really, really good. Dak, like I said, he played phenomenal, man. He made great choices. Didn't take a sack. You know what I mean? He got the ball where he needed to, which we'll address that later.
Yeah.
And he just played amazing. And I was telling Sturch, Keith, I got a list of some of the PFF grades of some of the guys on the team. And Dak had a 90 PFF. And we'll go over that. But when you're ready.
Yeah, well, here's the thing.
To show you the scale, a PFF grade 90 plus is like a Hall of Fame performance. Okay, 80 to 90 is Pro Bowl caliber. 70 to 80 is a great game. 60 to 70 is just an average game, but a good game, and anything below that. And I think Dak was at like 88 and was tied for second overall in the league.
Do you know who was the first
one on offense? No, I don't know.
Might have been Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson or something like that, who had both of those guys.
No, it doesn't necessarily have to be a quarterback. It could be.
You're talking about overall grade. Okay.
Overall.
But listen,
was he the top? But he was a top-rated quarterback, though. You're saying.
Yeah, him and Jalen were like neck and neck. They both had Pro Bowl games, and they both showed it. I meant, look, Jalen beat us with his legs. I meant, we couldn't stop him, which. People forget we played the number one offense, the Super Bowl champions. And, we didn't just play well. We should have won.
Yeah. I mean, let's start it off by saying that the start of this game was bizarre, with the Eagles losing their best defensive player to a $57,000 loogie. That's what he was fined. It's a
I mean,
game
what
check.
are you thinking? And you know, and then they try to say Dak just spit on the ground. And
It's,
then
anybody trying to
little
spin that
off
into Dak being the instigator. Look, and I will say this, and I've said this on this podcast before. If you remember back to the last time the Dallas Cowboys were on Hard Knocks and Dak Prescott was showing you his personality on the field, like off the field, yeah, Walter Payton Man of the Year, donations to all the charities, all, you know, he's just a guy's guy, perfect specimen when it comes to off the field stuff. On the field, I think Dak Prescott has a lot more dog in him than people give him credit for. And he was, to the point, he's a spitter, you know, like he spits, he says it's like a tick of his, like it happens. But like when he did spit and he looked up and he saw Jalen Carter, he smiled at him like, yeah, bitch, like, yeah, we're coming, you know, and then Jalen Carter was like, did you spit on me? And he's like, why the fuck? And he literally said, he goes like, why the fuck would I spit on you? You know, it's like, of all people.
Well, I think Dak said that he was coming after the rookie offensive
Tyler
lineman.
Booker.
Yeah, he was trying him, and that's why Dak was looking at him like, you know,
yeah,
kind of like sticking up for him.
Yeah, and that's what you want out of QB1. Absolutely. So that's how the game started. And you're like, oh, okay. And even Dak was like, oh, we're going to get 15 yards out of this. Turns out he's gone, right? And it's like, oof, all right. And all of a sudden you have a running game because you're running pretty much right at where Jalen Carter would be. And you have Javonte Williams, who really did show out, considering the fact that we had question marks about him because he had no reps in the preseason, Bret.
Everything was in our favor to pull this one win out. And we didn't. And it had nothing to do with coaching. It had nothing to do with coaching.
I'll ask you both. I'll start with Keith. You know, I know we had weekends that were ruined over the summer based off of Schotty, right? And our belief in Schotty and his vanilla offense in the preseason. How did you like him when he showed his cards?
I know he did. That was great. But I meant the only coaching I'm suspect on is letting Miles Sanders run the ball.
Yeah.
He was still playing for the Eagles, bro.
Yeah, that one was a heartbreaker after his 49-yard scamper, in which I think if that was Jaden Blue, that's a touchdown. You know, but Jaden Blue getting the healthy scratch, which is weird. And then you heard more about it yesterday. Schottenheimer came out and said you got to earn these reps and they have to be consistent. And maybe he saw inconsistencies in Jaden Blue's play throughout the preseason, throughout practice. Looks like he's not taking any shit, which is cool. You know, it's one of those, like, he's not a cupcake, he's not a pushover. You got to earn your food. What?
Go ahead. Every coach, yeah. We're just talking schematics now.
I'm talking about the fact that Schottenheimer wants these guys to earn his spots.
Moments. It's like, look, we don't know.
Sturch gets excited, bro. You know,
Yeah, but guys, I'm excited off a loss. So, like, give me a little bit of credit. Like,
no. What I'm saying is none of that shit matters, man. Like, even sticking up for the rookie, we had guys that never played it down that were ready to fight. You know, that has nothing to do with anything. It has to do with your performance, your consistency, your decision-making, you know, and that's more important to me, what Dak showed. It's the first game opener that I saw. The play calling was great.
Dude,
okay. Go ahead. No, you said you were mad they gave Miles the ball, but who knows? Javonte Davis might have been like, I'm tender on this play, or, you know, we don't know what goes on the sidelines. Personally, if Javonte was healthy and was ready to go, he should have put him in that 20 the way he was running. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Now, that's in my opinion. You know, it was like the kid last night, Swift for Chicago. You know, they stopped giving him the ball when you were down by a field goal. Let that kid run. That kid was just on fire.
And he's not known for that at all.
I know.
He's a finesse runner, and he was actually putting his shoulder down and eating some serious tackles. And look, nobody had Javonte Williams scoring twice in our opening game. Nobody did. You know what I mean? You did?
Yeah.
No, I had him. I put a $20 bet in, right?
Did you?
In Vegas for him to score the first touchdown of the game. And it won me 500. That's pretty cool.
Holy shit. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
No, 300. I'm sorry, not 500. 300.
Doesn't matter. Like, first touchdown score Javonte, you're like, fuck it.
Yeah, I was like, I'll give it a shot. We might, you know.
I like that. I like that. And by the way, for anybody listening and watching, Keith is old school. He was in Vegas for this, so he had to go up to the gate and place the bet. Like, he doesn't believe in any of these apps that everybody else in the world does.
I don't do apps either.
I know. You guys are so old school when it comes to that shit. Like, well, you're an exception, Bret. You're out there, so.
But here's the thing. When you go to the cage, it really helps you with your degeneracies because you see your future. You look at the guys that are there and you're like, I don't want that to be me. So if I'm
with the
the
oxygen tank and shit,
pull back to a 20, huh?
With the oxygen tanks and shit.
Oh, dude, they're awful. It's like going to an off-track betting. I don't know if you remember OTBs.
We have them in Jersey.
Yeah, I know. That's where we used to go. My stepfather would always make stops, and you see the people there, and you're like, I don't ever want to be that.
I mean, it's one of those things where I think like I kind of want to be them. They give two shits about nothing but themselves. Those people.
Well, you don't want to be them. They are just awful. They look like drug addicts. That's how bad it is.
Well, in any event, so look,
knock on wood.
The Cowboys showed some offense. Dak Prescott was pushing the ball down the field.
What they were doing right, a lot of motion, which was good.
Pre-snap motion was a big thing for me last year. I'm like, we never showed it. You know what I mean? Like we never showed pre-snap motion, and I don't know. I just didn't make any sense not to do it. I'm a little blurry now.
We showed a lot of pre-snap motion. You're out of focus, Dave.
Yeah, I know. Something happened with my camera. Go ahead. Keep going, guys.
We showed a lot of pre-snap motion. The play calling was good. It wasn't, even our situational play calling was good. Again, Javonte fucking, he ran when he needed to. He was running hard, hitting the holes. We had our O-line was, they were making blocks. It was good, man. And we scored on almost every drive. The Eagles couldn't stop us in the first half.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean, look. Go ahead, Keith.
No, I would say the only reason I am pumping the brakes a little bit on this excitement is we were super, like, our team was really up for this game, like really up.
Yeah.
No one gave them a chance. It's one of those games where, if you have talent and you're really up for a game, you're gonna play well. That's why going into this next game is tricky for me. But we'll get into that when you guys are done. But
it's tricky for me too. But yeah,
it's not for me. It's not for me.
Well, to get into the goods and the positives, like I said, Dak Prescott pushing the ball down the field. You want to see a couple of those balls. Obviously, look, the drops were killer in the biggest of spots. On top of the drops, I think one of the biggest things for me was seeing too many receivers in the same area, meaning somebody ran the wrong route, right? So that pissed me off. With Jalen Tolbert, there was a couple times where I'm like, bro, why are you so close?
Let's get to that then. I do not think I think Tolbert does not. I think we need to start repping Flournoy, get him in there. I think he was our weakest link. I mean, Cavante played well. Pickens got, I'll tell you this, CD kept getting separation, man.
CD went for over 100 yards, so we can't take that away from him.
No, but here's the other thing. You have three, look, and you know how I feel about this. I think CD is one of the better receivers, but he's not that clutch guy. And when you drop three in a row, you can't do this and be like, my bad. You could maybe give him the third one. That was difficult, even though Dak
played.
The
one he's laying out for?
Yeah, but guess what? Michael Irvin
going to drop, by the way.
Michael Irvin is catching that ball. And you want the big – and I said this in the text last night, I'll take the big play, the clutch catch over the athletic catch when it doesn't matter, that was T.O.'s problem, and we'll get to that. We don't have to discuss that, but two key fucking first downs – in your chest and in your hands, and you're the second highest paid receiver in the NFL.
Look, I agree. You got to come down with that shit, but I'm so tired, and maybe it's just me because I've heard it enough. But like, I'm so tired of the narrative of like,
it's not a narrative.
No, but I'm saying like, oh, you make this much money, so you shouldn't make any mistakes whatsoever.
Yes. No,
well, it's not any mistakes though. I mean, it can be consistent. Like, and I'll bring this up again. Nobody wants to talk about some of his drops, but last year against Atlanta, when Cooper Rush came in, we would have tied the ball game if CeeDee Lamb did not drop an easy post that was right in his chest. That's another game there. That's another win that at the end of the year matters when you're going to the playoffs. So yeah, I do have to say that if it happens, there are other plays in my head that I remember. But key important ones, that's what you got those playmakers for. That's what you're making that money for, man. to step up in that situation.
You're not making that money so nerds can do well in fantasy. I mean, big deal. He had over 100 yards. Who the fuck cares? I'd rather him have 40 yards and catch those key passes that we need.
Clearly. I agree with you there. And
again, I'm not putting him down. He's an elite receiver. But to be that clutch guy, to be that Marvin Harrison or that Michael Irvin or that Jerry Rice, when just get him the ball. And he's your main guy. And you can't depend on that. That's huge. That got the ball where he needed to get it.
And that goes for a couple balls to Ferguson as well. There was one that was on the throne, but there's a couple that were on the money.
When you drop it, Fergie played a good game, man. He was actually one of the guys that Schottenheimer mentioned because he came up big when he had to. You're going to drop passes. It's fine. Nobody does that. It's when you drop them.
I think he's referring to the one in the end zone. Fergie? But he got his head clean, bro. That was a tough one. He got
Again, you can't blame a guy like Ferguson for not coming up with it. But I'm saying, like, it was there for him. And, there could be a million. Like, for instance, I could be like, well, Witten's not dropping that ball. To me, that's just like, again. It's
like Thielen last night against Detroit. He had a ball in his hand.
Right in his hands.
And boom. I mean,
right. And Jefferson dropped the ball, too, right in his breadbasket.
So we've seen it as a trend in the league, by the way.
And again, week one. Remember that, week one.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, but you got to be ready for week one counts.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, man. I mean, we could be kicking our ass at the end of the year if we don't get a wild card for this one game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And listen, it's a division game. It's there. And as Schottenheimer said, there's absolutely no sense of a moral victory here because you don't do that in the NFL. You can't be like, well, we lost, but we kind of won. Like, no, you lost. You're 0-1. And,
and it's a division rival. And in our division, we're third in our division now.
And, to Keith's biggest bugaboo of the defense, preseasons or not, Damone Clark was out of place in that game. Like, he just didn't have he had one of those Gavone Clark games where you're like, dude, what is going on? Like, and once again, Schottenheimer came out and said, well, Liafo has to earn those reps and he's getting there. Like, to me, I don't need to see anymore. I know that Maurice is a better player. He had Damone Clark.
Now I'm on the Liafu train, okay?
Yeah.
But he only had 6 fucking plays. Now,
that's ridiculous to me.
As far as the PFF grades go, the Kenneth Murray was the worst. Sanborn was second worst. Gavone Clark had a 61 grade, which he had a good game. Sanborn had 47, and Kenneth Murray had a 30.
So here's my thing with these grades, and I know I brought them up too. But there could be other things maybe Gavone's doing, but when it's coming to the run again, that's what I'm worried. Maybe he's dropping back in pass coverage. Maybe there's other things he's doing well. But I saw with my own eyes him not, and as Sturch was saying, and you saw it too, bro, in the game.
Yeah.
The same issue with the run, the same issue with the running. I mean, it drives me crazy. But on the flip side, though, and we all said it, Eagles scored 3 points in the second half, and Gavone did play the second half. So maybe adjustments and stuff got in his ear, and a coach got in his ear, and maybe they did a few adjustments because that defense was a completely different defense in the second half.
Yeah,
right. And you got it, and you also have to credit. I mean, look, again, for fantasy people, and but the yardage matters. Saquon Barkley, outside of scoring, which obviously sucks, but 60 yards, right? So it's
held all the running backs to under 100.
Right. And that right there leads me to believe that, I'm not, and again, you can't ask any real true diehard Cowboys fan who will be bleeding this trade for the next 3 years. Can't tell me ooh, see, we don't need Micah. Look, we saw what Micah could do. We saw him on the Packers game. But what I'm saying is to clog up the middle, like Kenny Clark and like Osa did, is exactly what you need. Because if you flush them out, 9 times out of 10, if you have an Overshawn or you have a Maurice in there the entire time who won't let Jalen Hurts do his little scamper around, you know what I mean? They'll pop him once, he'll think twice about doing it again. So I think the middles of the defensive interior where we lacked the most for the last 2 years, that looked pretty solid to me.
Look, you're not going to face many quarterbacks this year like Jalen Hurts,
No.
and that's why he is top 5. I mean, he's an elite quarterback, and we had a decent pass rush. I think we had total of 20 total pressures, but half of those were when we were unblocked or in a cleanup pressure. Okay, but when we get Nealand, Kenny Clark, Malik Hooker were the ones that Schottenheimer said he stood out. They had a 65.7 grade in the pass rush, which wasn't bad. Okay, we couldn't contain them because, I mean, you also got to look at their weapons. I mean,
but that's the thing. They didn't even target AJ Brown. They didn't target their biggest play was to
because we were shutting down, man.
That's what I'm saying. So like we got, and I'm not going to be an apologist for Trayvon Diggs because there's too many plays I saw him completely not in this game. I'm saying in the past where I'm not going to be like, oh, he's a changed man. Trayvon Diggs, who we talked about all preseason about, will he be ready? Will we see him by Halloween? We don't know yet, right? All this other shit. And then he comes out there and puts the clamps on guys like AJ Brown and Devonta Smith. You got to give it up for Trayvon Diggs, and you got to give it up for Bland, and you got to give it up for the guys that were really hustling out there, which is a very positive sign considering you're not going to have to face AJ Brown, Devonta Smith every week.
I know this sounds crazy, but the injury might have made him pull back more on the overcommitting because he was always going for the pick. He was taking himself a lot of times. He'd go for the ball and get burnt. Or now he's like, look, I'm not 100%, so let me just keep it basic. I mean, that's just me speculating. As a player, when you don't have your full powers, sometimes it makes you play fundamentals different.
Yeah. And
he had a phenomenal game, man. Diggs had a great game.
So look, there are bright spots to take from this. The Cowboys did lose. That's the part that really matters, right? And
it's how we lost, and you
can go back. That's the thing. You can go back and you can pinpoint, like, and I've said this to a couple of my friends. I said, you replay that game with the same scenario, like Jalen Carter out, blah blah blah. We win that game by 10 plus, and I'm just saying that as maybe not too much of an optimistic fan, but like there's a lot of opportunities to score points in that game. And I was like, dude, we definitely shot ourselves in the foot.
Fumble killed us. The fumble killed us.
I'll tell you what, though. I'll tell you what. The fumble happened, then the rain delay, right, which helped Dallas because the momentum was swung, and Philly would have probably went right down the field and did something stupid. So the 2-hour rain delay, then they come back and they get the ball and they go 3 and out. So it was like, okay, so that you negate the fumble, but you missed your scoring opportunity. And of course, obviously, we've talked about CeeDee Lamb's drops.
We had some bullshit calls. The refs gave us that taunting penalty was fucking awful.
Well, listen, that's what they cracked down on in the NFL this year. You can't just you're talking to a shit talker. Trust me.
No, what I'm saying though is there was a lot of things that worked in our favor, and we didn't pull it out. And to me, the main reason was CeeDee Lamb, and that can't be. If that's your number one. And that's your elite receiver, and you drop 3 in a row on key first downs and even field position. I mean, again, we one of them we could have at least gotten 3 points out of.
Right.
So
right.
Go ahead, Keithy. What were you going to say?
I don't remember.
All right. Well, listen.
Yeah, it's just funny that I can't be sold on this team still, man.
Well,
because I bet you guys sound very excited and all that, and I get it because that's how fans are. That's how we are every week.
It's not so much excitement.
I'm not getting pulled in, bro.
But no.
I got to see.
It's not the excitement.
All I remember. Hold on, let me finish. All I remember is last season me having to apologize for shitting on the linebackers and the defense of the Browns, and then the Saints come in and score 7 straight touchdowns on us. So. I'm still. We could talk about all this. I'm letting you guys go because I think you're more equipped to brag about this team than I am.
We're not bragging.
Or be excited about it. I can't. And I just can't.
But we're not bragging. These are all facts.
No, I know. Yeah. I got you. So go for it. But get the fans excited, and then fucking Scatterboo's going to come for 200 yards against us next.
I'm not getting excited. We're just saying what it is. I mean, for me to say that we got some bullshit, the Eagles got bullshit calls in our favor. that our star
No,
receivers.
that's fine, but I meant,
I'm saying that there was a
keep
lot.
saying we should have won. We should have won. Trayvon Diggs, maybe his injury is the reason why this isn't happening. We're making all these excuses, and it's like
it's not excuses.
To me, they are.
Well, you're hearing a different podcast.
I'm not hearing a different podcast. I'm just saying, dude, I'm not shitting on you guys. I'm just not gonna. I'm letting you go because you guys are making a lot of sense.
But it's
more positive than negative, which is fine. Because, like I said, when we opened, I felt like we shouldn't have lost that game.
Well, here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say about this. If the game was, if we did everything what we just said, right? If we CeeDee Lamb dropped balls, this, that, and the third, right? And we lost by 20. You'd be hearing a different tone. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the fact that we were that close.
But see, here's my problem with all that too. Is like we're saying, like, even the Miles Sanders fumble and that's part of the game. Like, drop passes. Yeah, when I say it's part of the game, that's what makes a team not that good. What I'm trying to say is that he dropped it. He won't drop it again. He won't drop it next time.
Who said that?
I don't fucking know.
Who said that?
No, I don't know, but I'm just saying no. I mean, I'm not. It just sounds that way. That this is the reason why we lost. Like, we would have won if this didn't happen. How do we know that's not going to happen?
Nothing's coded. Nothing.
But this is what average teams do. They can't win in the end. They have drop balls like that. You have bad plays. This is what they do, and that's the whole thing with the Dallas Cowboys. Is that's why I need to see more.
Well, we have 15. We have 15 teams that are 1-0, and we have 15 teams that are 0-1.
16.
Yeah, but how many teams in the NFC hasn't been to the NFC Championship in 30 years?
Well, now you're just talking.
But I'm just saying,
and that lies why you can't see past it, and that's fine. Like, you're almost like you're emotionally scarred and programmed.
There you go. That's why in lies why I am not. Yeah.
Okay.
Totally. I get it.
You should just do the podcast and say, you know what? We're 0-1.
No, you shouldn't. You be you and I'll be me. That's all right,
it.
So
all I'm defending is I'm not being positive and I'm not being negative. We're quoting the bad things and we're quoting the good things. We're in week 1. We got to go now against the Giants. We got to look at
that. But last season we thought we had Doomsday Defense 3 after the Cleveland game, and it was the same thing.
That's my problem. That's my problem now, Keith.
Hold on. I remember verbatim, man. There's just a different vibe on this defense, man. This defense, I'm telling you, it's the attitude. You can see the way.
And this is usually right around now. I would say, you got to watch down from the sidelines, man. You got to watch down from the sidelines. It's so much fun.
I'm going on record as saying last year, and there's receipts. After we beat Cleveland, I wasn't impressed with the offense. The defense obviously played good.
We know that, bro.
Okay, so what I'm saying is I'm indifferent to the result of what we're doing now. During the game, I'm excited.
I'm not attacking you.
No, because this is a fair podcast, and
okay, if that's what
all right, but here, Key. All right, so I'm gonna
it's a fair podcast when Bret picks them to go 15-1 into the Super Bowl 2 years ago. That's a fair podcast.
and I really thought they were going to be. I thought
that's a good point. I'm mad.
I wasn't last year.
All right, so Keith, with you being the way you are, why are you the way you are? No, like, with you feeling this way towards the Cowboys, can they? And I'll transition to the Giants because that's where we're at now. It's week 2. We got to move on, right? Like, it's whatever. We'll take the positives. We'll stuff them in our little positivity jar, and we're just going to move right on to the Giants. Now, is there anything that we can show this week coming up to you, Keith, that would have you? And I'm not going to ask you to buy in. I'm just going to say, like, all right, 2 weeks in a row of this, and you're going to start to feel a certain way about the team.
That's it. It has to start. We have to start with a win. Going and getting into the Giants.
So the result of the game is the only thing that's going to really sway you.
And it depends how we win. There's a lot behind it. But if we shut them out 44-0, okay. If we shut them out 44-0, then I don't. Even then, depending on how it goes, it depends how the game is for me to continue to build confidence. But I'm stick. So And then, we talk about the positives. It's great. I mean, we can, because there was a lot of positive. It's fine.
And the negatives.
What's that?
And our negatives. We mentioned
and the negatives. But I'm just saying, I just don't, it's hard for me to get excited after what has happened.
Because, but the reason why I ask you that is because of what we saw from the Giants last week against Washington, where they came out very flat, right? Like offensively, they couldn't get anything going. You got Malik Neighbors about to punch the coach in the face. You got Russ Wilson looking a little older than what he's looked like in the past, right? And their running game just never got off to a start. They're on the road right now. They're going on the road again to Dallas. So to your points, I don't know if there's anything that the Cowboys can do. Like if the Cowboys do, like, all right. So for instance, I'm sorry to like keep spinning this, but like you just said that was one of the better games that you've seen Dak Prescott play, right? If he goes out there and does the similar thing, and we actually cash in a lot more than we did last week, could you start to think that Dak Prescott is now starting to trend in the right direction? Or is it like, it's the Giants though?
No, I will never say that about an NFL team.
Okay.
You'll never hear me say, oh, it's just that, especially with quarterbacks. You know what I mean? I mean, you say, oh, it's just them. I meant, it's more the significance of a game than the team, But no, I mean, we're still early in the season, but I meant, if I'm looking at this game, all right, I watched a condensed game. There it is.
Waiting for that. It's waiting for that.
Giants and Washington late last night when I got home because I wanted to see exactly what happened. And Giants defense is good, guys. They're not bad at all. Okay,
they held Washington to 14 all game.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. It was a close game in the fourth quarter. If Tracy Porter and Scattaboo come out, once again we're favorites by 6.
I got them at 4. Where do you see 6?
we're -6.
Oh, I saw 4, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
So, but if they come out with that fucking NFL high, we're playing the Dallas Cowboys. It's just because they only ran the ball like 17 times to the Giants. I don't know what they were thinking.
Well, they're playing from behind a lot,
but they weren't though. That's my whole point.
But they were down all game. It's just a matter of
but they weren't. But they still could put a drive together. It's not like it was like 30 to fucking 3.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So.
Right.
And key here, the offensive line for the Giants watching, they're not that good. Okay.
No,
they're not. They didn't look too good. But what can help that is a different quarterback behind there. And if they
don't think they make the switch,
forget Jackson Dart. Forget Jackson Dart. Jameis Winston's there.
Well, Jackson Dart is listed as the 2.
I know he is. But that would scare me if I'm more scared of Jameis Winston getting in that game.
Well, he won't.
I don't know. You never know, bro. People hot people all the time.
It's a rule. It's a rule.
What do you mean it's a rule?
He's the emergency 3. The 2 quarterbacks in front of him have to get hurt.
Really? He's an emergency 3?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought he was just like the quarterback on a depth chart thing.
No, he's the emergency 3. I mean, you have 2 quarterbacks and you're emergency 3rd. So
wait a second. So if you have a 3 quarterbacks on the roster, automatically the second one has to get hurt in order for that third one to get in?
Yes.
So wait, they can't say, "Hey, we're going to make an adjustment, move."
Yeah.
Jackson
even if Jackson Dart starts to suck, they
not
can't.
If he's listed as the emergency 3, which he is.
Yeah, but but I thought it wasn't that cut and dry, meaning like something has to be designated that. Like if they already have enough on the roster.
So you're saying if it's not an emergency 3 and it's just listed as a 3rd quarterback.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
That's a tricky question, and I don't know the rule off the top of my head, but I'm trying to in my mind. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't worry about Jameis Winston getting in the game because I think the first 2 got to get knocked out.
I'll tell you what. I will be impressed if the Cowboys win this game by double digits. I'll be very impressed.
Double digits, like 10?
Only because of the whole we're favorites. The Giants had a shitty game. They're going to be coming in hot. Automatically, the Dallas Cowboys are hearing what we're saying. They're not hearing, but the energy is, hey, we played a good game. People actually think that, we could maybe do it, that kind of thing. I know athletes think differently, but I'm just saying the Giants coming in to Dallas is as underdogs is a test for the Cowboys because once again, we haven't done shit. And I'm just worried about that mentality of just coming in, Just amped, not super amped.
It's just like any other NFC East game. I don't give a shit what the spread is. It's NFC East. Like the familiarity between the two teams. Like, look, the Giants haven't given us a push in years, right? And that's just the way it is. But the Giants, to me, going in, I picked in my mind and talking to a couple people, I said, I'm not going to be surprised if the Giants go into Washington and win that game. I honestly thought that there was a shot, right? But there wasn't enough offense and there wasn't enough production out of their receivers or their running game or anything. So, look, Cowboys are coming in, obviously, with a little bit of a, yeah, we shoulda kind of mentality, I think. But, yeah, like you said, Keith, if the Cowboys take care of business as they are quoted should, according to Vegas, like you're a touchdown favorite. If you go in there and you win the game 30-20 and you win by double digits and you win by 10, you're like, oh, you know what? We did what we should have did, right? But therein lies that dreaded,
okay,
if we start 0-2.
No. When I say, there's a difference between me saying I'm being impressed because I still think we're an average team.
We are.
So that's why I'd be impressed if we beat them by double digits. That's all I'm saying. If we win, I'm still impressed, but I'm just not like, oh, okay, this is good. It's one of those things.
It would be prototypical Cowboys form to look good against the Eagles and then fall flat on their face against the Giants.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, look, game 2 is going to say, are we the same team as last year, right? And if we lose, yeah, we are. Again, this all depends on Dak to me. And my biggest complaint about Dak was his consistency, right? Now, he played an amazing game against the Eagles. Like I said, graded high, probably one of the highest in the league, made all the right decisions, no stupid passes, was just played perfect, as perfect you could against the Super Bowl champions. But where the concern still lies, and it goes to Keith's point, which I was going to say, good teams win the games. They don't lose games. They win games. And we lost that game. It's kind of like the Bears last night. They were up. They gave the game away. I mean, look what the Ravens did against Buffalo. Good teams find a way to win. They don't shoot themselves in the foot. Mm-hmm. And to me, I don't give a fuck that CD's out there catching passes on their day off. That means nothing to me.
Means something to me.
But it means nothing. It means nothing if you play the game. It means nothing.
I'm
so excited about it. He loves
it's not excitement. It's just listen, what was my biggest gripe with Trayvon Diggs last year? What was my biggest gripe?
Answer the question. What was my biggest gripe? He never came up and tackled.
Or effort. Just fucking effort. Okay. So you're telling me that the dude is saying, you know what? Fuck this. That's not who I am. I got to go catch passes. I got to go to the jugs machine. I got to keep putting in extra work. That's not for press.
Sturchio, let me make a point here, Dave. That means nothing. It means nothing. Okay, I'll give you a good example. Lynn Swann is in the Hall of Fame not because of his season production. It's because of his postseason production. Okay, actually, Stallworth was the better receiver during the season. Lynn Swann stepped it up when he had to. They even called it the Swan catch. It's one thing to be catching balls from a machine. It's another thing when your team needs you and it's an important down and you drop the ball. That's where there's so many great practice players in college and in the NFL, guys that are just doing what they have to do. And when that moment comes that you work for, you can't go, my bad. That's where it matters. That's where the players are built. That's where it made Jordan different than any other player, was his consistency in every quarter. He shot the same from the tip of the ball to the last second.
Yeah, but and I'm a Jordan guy. Trust me when I tell you that.
I'm just saying, when you're looking at the greats, it's consistency, and it's coming when you need, like Irvin. On paper, Irvin isn't a physical specimen. He was slow. He was compared to other receivers. He just catches that ball, and that's your job. And that's a concern for me now. And it always has been. CD is a great slot receiver. He's one of those guys, you get him, get those yards for you. But when you got to be clutch. And 3 drop fucking balls is a concern.
So I wanted to bring something up real quick.
It's mental. It's not skill-wise. It's all mental.
I agree. I agree with Bret. And to say it's not a press thing, I don't know either, Sturch. I mean, you found out. It's like, and I know I'm not saying that's why he's doing it, but he knows that the word's going to get out. You know what I mean? I mean, inside, that. It's like,
I get it, but he's just all right. Go ahead.
But I just want to talk about one game real quick. I got to go pretty soon. But the one thing I want to talk about real quick, and it's non-Dallas Cowboy related, was the Bills and the Ravens game the other night and the coaching by the Bills head coach. What he did at the end with that field goal, I've never seen before. That was so basically they made the Ravens burn all their timeouts. There was 38 seconds left. They could have spiked the ball, but no, they ran out there and let the clock go. Remember, Sturch? They could have kicked it on third down. They didn't kick it on third down. They let it go all the way to the end. So they did not want Lamar Jackson to get the ball back. I've never seen a coach do that ever.
Well, what about the signal? What about the signal to come out of the end zone?
Yeah. That was last night.
I got the games mixed up. Sorry about
the Bills and the Ravens. Yeah. But that final minute, I've never seen. And that's the kind of coach I'm hoping, and I want to bring that up. I'm hoping because those kind of decisions Schotty's going to make. Because Jason Garrett would definitely the other McCarthy, all these other guys, I've never seen somebody strategically in a position like that. Watching the NFL my whole life to think that was okay, and it ended up being okay. I just thought that was amazing. I don't know if you guys don't know what I'm talking about. Go watch the last drive of the Buffalo game.
Keith, I was going to steal your point and make the perfect face, but the other point that Keith made was the adjustments in the second half of our defense. Mm-hmm. And that was really fucking impressive.
And that's Eberflus. That's Matt Eberflus. So whatever he did at halftime, it worked. And again, there was a quote that they said when they came out. And it was a couple of the corners and the linebackers saying, unleash us. That's something that the sideline reporter heard, basically saying, send the blitz. Like, if we're not getting there with 4, just blitz some people, right? And as soon as we started putting some extra looks, some stunts, and all of a sudden it was a different game. And Jalen Hurts wasn't running rampant, and Barkley wasn't doing shit, and they weren't completing passes. So whatever that was, right, you got to continue to build off that. You can't just say, okay, we're a really good second half team. I hate that shit. Like, there's one thing that Cowboys showed last Thursday was that they came out firing. They came out scoring points, which doesn't. Don't you realize? I don't know if you guys saw this or heard this because I know you're at the pool, so I don't know if you're listening to the commentary. But Thursday was the first opening. They had one opening drive touchdown last year, one for the whole season. For them to do it on their opening drive was like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? So for me, that was like, okay, here we are. Like, we're going to play some offense now. They look great on offense. They made the necessary defensive adjustments. I just don't want no slow start bullshit against the Giants where we're like, okay, we're only down 4 at halftime. What do we got to do to adjust? I don't want any of that nonsense.
So check it out, bro. Before you go, I got to give you my score and what I think. And then you guys can go ahead and you got to, I don't know much longer going to be, but
we'll take it home after this.
I just believe that this game is going to be a lot closer than we think. I think the Giants are going to come out with a different mentality. I think we're going to come out flat. I think we're going to be worried. This is just my gut feeling. But I do think we pull it out. I would say how I look at it is we're either going to lose or we're only going to win by a little. And I say if you had a gun to my head, I say we win by a little. I'll give you a score. I'll say 18-14, something like that.
Bret, you want to follow that with a prediction?
I think if my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle. If Dak plays consistent again, I think we win maybe like 21-10.
I was leaning on that towards that score too.
Now, if we have the same concerns with, again, everybody did what they had to do, and like I said, CD was getting separation. He just was dropping the ball. if there's that the other thing I'd like to see maybe, and even though Miles had that great run, I'd like to see Jaden Blue in there.
We'll see if he has a week of practice where Schottenheimer thinks he deserves it. I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird dynamic right now with that running back room. It really is.
The way Javante's running, if we could keep pounding the ball, setting up the pass, keep him with the pre-snap motions on offense, defensively, again, our pass rush wasn't that great. It wasn't bad, but our run stop was good. And again, carrying over into this game. This game will tell a lot of how we are as a team, and if we're going to be running like a well-oiled machine. I mean, look, there's going to be mistakes. You're gonna get beat every now and then. You're playing against other great people, but it's the consistency that I'm being looking for. But I think we should do well against the Giants. I think we should win by double digits.
The only team, bringing that up, the only team that looked completely awful on both sides of the ball, and I don't understand it, was the Dolphins.
Bad.
I don't. But that's it. Every other team has something to build on. I don't know what the Colts.
The Colts are the first team in NFL history to score on every drive, ever. Every offensive drive, they came away with points.
But if you remember in the beginning of the season last year, Eagles were 2-2, and we're like, what kind of team is this? And then they
won the Super Bowl.
But that's the whole point. Can you imagine if we were Dolphins? Because every team, the Browns could have won. The Giants' defense played well. Everybody has something. The Dolphins didn't have shit.
I think McDaniels better watch his ass, to be honest with you. And that's just.
Well, listen, Sturch, I can't wait to hear your prediction off the air. All right, I gotta go.
All right.
I was going to ask you, what team do you think were the closest to parallel? Like the Raiders after
the Cowboys?
Yeah.
Is
there a team that were
the Buccaneers?
I like the Bucks.
The Buccaneers, yeah.
I like the Bucks a lot. I like the Bucks.
Mayfield plays awesome games like Dak, and then he has those games where you're like, I don't understand, where did he go? What happened? But all right, I go the Bucks. All right, guys, I'll see you later.
Take care, Keith. If I had to put a score on it, you got him 21-10. He's got him 18-14. I had like a 23-13 type score where, listen, the Giants might go up 7-0 and the sky might fall and people are like, what the fuck? Right. Because they couldn't put shit together last week.
Look, you could play out every scenario. I know my brother was like, we're being fans. We're not being fans. We're just taking what we got from game one and we're carrying it over to game two. Last season doesn't even matter, even though we saw what we can implode, but we should win this game. And I didn't touch the Redskins and Giants game. I didn't know which team. I didn't know if it was going to be the Redskins or whatever the fuck they are from the NFC Championship game, or if it was going to be the Giants. The Giants looked like they were improving. I didn't know which team was going to show. The only team that really fucked me on my card was Detroit.
Yeah, and you know what? That was their first game without Ben Johnson and another defense, and without Aaron Glenn. So both coordinators gone, and all of a sudden the Detroit Lions weren't humming like they would normally hum. But yeah, for the, like Keith said, the Giants defense, I thought going into that game was going to be better than they were last year, right? And I thought for 3.5 quarters of that game, when it's 14-6 and they're literally just a score down, all the Giants had to do was get down the field and score a touchdown. They couldn't do shit, right? Offensively, they look bad. But their defense held the Commanders, who are a little bit more of a high-powered offense now. Now you add guys like Deebo Samuel and shit like that. They have multiple weapons and multiple ways to beat you, including their quarterback, who also has legs, better legs than Jalen Hurts. So for the Giants to contain all that shit, that worries me a little bit, because I'm like, okay, we went out there and put 20 up on the Eagles in the first half and then just disappeared in the second half.
But
the drops.
That's a big Allah. Like,
I know.
When you're looking at the play calling and you're looking at
play calling, I have no problem with whatsoever.
No,
Zero.
I'm saying they called a great game.
Mm-hmm.
Like my brother brought up, Eberflus, the adjustments at the second half were phenomenal. I don't know what kind of game plan that we're going to go in, if what our first 15 are, what they say, usually have the first 15 plays out, and then you get it. Then you get the rhythm.
Imagine having to make the adjustment. like the Cowboys had to do. Like they didn't plan on running the ball like that until they were like, oh wait, Jalen Carter's not there. Oh, we're gonna run the fucking ball.
Look, like I said, we were set up, and that's my red flag. We were set up to win, and when Carter got ejected, I was like, oh shit, that's huge, right? Then, because he's going up against a fucking rookie offensive lineman. Then we had a lot of their calls that they gave us were bullshit. That taunting penalty was awful. It was like the call last night when the guy basically had his hands up and the tip of his helmet touched his face. I mean, how do you control that?
I think you can, but you also can't do it either. You know, it's like,
well, it wasn't like it was even a half second. It was.
Oh, I'm with you on the physical aspect where you're like,
was awful. He just flexed. Who the fuck cares? It's a game.
They do.
It's a physical game.
The NFL's the no fun league for a reason, man. Like those days of standing over him like Ray Lewis or Brian Dawkins or some shit and just flexing and shit, those are done, right? They're done.
Crazy.
They're gone. It is crazy. I think it's horrible. Because I'm an old school soul like you guys. Like I would rather have guys getting clean, their heads clocked. Like I'm with it.
You want to protect. It's like an abuse of a rule. The rule's there to protect players, right? I don't want to hear any more about player safety because now they changed the kickoff to encourage more kickoff returns when the dynamic kickoff was supposed to encourage less collisions and this, that, and the third, and nobody running full speed. Okay, fine. But there was some fucking wood being laid last week with this week one. There was a lot of people getting fucking crushed on the kickoffs. So I don't want to hear about player safety anymore. I think it's bullshit. The point is that we lost this game. And we were set up to win. Even the fucking rain delay, I was like, or the thunder. I'm like, dude, this is all meant to be. They got, and don't get me wrong, with Jalen Carter getting it, he needed to be ejected. That's a fucking, if that was on the street, that's misdemeanor assault. You can't spit on someone.
If that was on the street, he also probably would have been choked.
Dude, we used to spit. Like a lot of times, like when I'm locked up, I would spit in a guy's face, and there was always dirty shit going on the field. My grandfather's generation, they used to put tacks in their hands, like under the tape. So they had tacks.
I mean, I've heard stories about Romanowski, like underneath the pile, like breaking fingers. Like,
yeah, they did shit like that.
Oh, that's a nice finger you got there, and just take it out. And other people checking for oil, if you know what I'm talking about. Like,
yeah.
There's some fucking crazy shit that happens at the bottom of a pile. But when you're face to face with one of the franchise quarterbacks of the league, you can't do what you did. You just can't. And I don't give a fuck how many loogies were spit in front of you, blah, blah, blah.
Like, and there's no justification to say, well, he spit first. He spit on the ground. I mean, it's dumb.
Because he looked up and saw him and smiled. That's why they're like, oh,
Jalen Carter's. It was a dumb move by him. That was stupid. Anyways, we were set up to win and we didn't. And we shot ourselves in the foot, and our number one playmaker, quote unquote, is the main reason. Because look, and this is a game of inches, as you heard, it is. It's a game of, it always could come down to the last drive,
right?
And when you pay your players, you get these superstars, quote unquote, and that's when they differentiate themselves from earning that money, because you're getting paid playmaker, super fucking Hall of Fame, quote, all pro money. And when it matters is when you're supposed to make that money worth it. And
listen, I can't disagree with you in that regard.
The game away.
Right.
And again, I'm not putting CD down, but like my brother said, and he has a track record of this. So catching balls
since 2020, he leads the NFL in drops.
And catching balls on your day off has nothing to do with the mental game. It has not, like Michael Irvin did you hear what he said when I was born to catch footballs? When the doctor went to slap me, I caught his hands. when you notice Irv on the sideline at the Hurricanes game, and you know what they even said, Mike's those types of receivers are fucking built differently. And those guys, the Marvin Harrisons and the Jerry Rices and those, because I'll be honest with you, Randy Moss, to me, as great as and athletic as he was, if he wasn't as athletic, would he be that good? And I know that's a weird question to ask. We know Michael Irvin wasn't the most athletic guy. So when you're talking about that Rocky moment and that heart that you love, it's in guys like Irvin. It's in guys like Jerry Rice. Okay. We need, and that's why Pickens, we need to spread that ball around more.
Yeah. And I think Pickens will get a lot more involved this week.
Tolbert, in my opinion, was out of position a lot. Give a guy like Flournoy in there. And Tolbert's had his shots.
He has.
And we need that big body come down with the ball, fucking 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 4 in traffic. That's what we need.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But we'll see. We'll see what they pull with the Giants. They obviously, to the recency bias, the Cowboys have done rather well against the New York Giants, but it's a new year. It's September football. Anything can happen. Talk to me in December, January when it's the last game of the year, and we're like, we should run through these guys or they might beat us. But right now, it's anybody's game.
It was a different Dak that I've seen in all the years playing in this game. Like he said, it was one of the best games he had this year than all last year. It's one of the best games I've seen him play. Maybe Pittsburgh, I'll give him that.
And he threw some picks against Pittsburgh. You know what I mean? So it's like, but like I've been trying to tell, look, I'm not going to convince anybody off of one game because it just doesn't exist that way. But I've been saying Dak off injury, he's a different cat. And I think that we saw a little of it in the first week, and hopefully we continue to see it because that's what it's going to be. It's going to take that. It's going to take Dak Prescott to beat Dak Prescott, the good Dak Prescott, to beat all these teams coming up. This schedule doesn't get any easier down the stretch. You know what I mean? Like we got to make sure that this guy's right. And the offensive line, a couple pressures here and there, they kept him upright. That's something that you just didn't expect. Even if Jalen Carter's in that game, like Dak Prescott was upright. He was getting rid of the ball. There was a couple times where I'm like, damn, how the fuck did he get rid of that ball? You know what I mean? Like, he got out of there a couple times.
Maybe Schottenheimer cracked the code. We were that excited about the Texas offense when, he started heating up the first year. And we're okay, well, we don't know. And that's a fucking sad thing to say for your 10-year quarterback that's allegedly an elite quarterback.
Well, I disagree with
elite. He played elite against the Eagles, and if he could keep that consistency, and I'm not going to fault him, you're going to throw interceptions. You're going to make bad plays. It's part of the game, okay? It's when do you make them? And he was putting together a game-winning drive, and our number one played like number two on that last fucking drive, like Dookie.
And that is how we will end this week's podcast.
I got faith in you, CD.
Yeah, like Dookie. So do I plan on having the same conversation about CeeDee Lamb next week? I don't. But again, it's the NFL. Who fucking knows? So we all got the Cowboys winning this game against the Giants. The line apparently is 6. I thought it was 4. So
who's after the Giants?
The Bears.
In Chicago.
Yeah. And then we come on home for Sunday Night Football against Micah Parsons and the Green Bay Packers. So it should be a lot of fun for the rest of September. We'll figure it all out as we go. For Dave Sturchio and Bret Ernst, and of course the Grinch, Keith Ernst, who left us prematurely, but that's okay. He's at work. He's grinding away. This has been another episode of the Jersey Boyz Podcast, and we'll see you guys next time. Let's go Cowboys.
Hey, this is Tony Soprano, and you're listening to Jersey Boyz Podcast with your hosts, Dave Sturchio and the Ernst boys. I could give a shit about the Cowboys. We're in New Jersey. These guys got balls being Cowboys fans in Jersey. Anyways, enjoy. Whatever.
How about this, Cowboys?